Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Natasha. If it is your first time here, and today's video is all about brows. I'm going to be showing you guys how I maintenance my brows, my favorite brow products, and then I'm going to show you how I style my brows in two different ways. I'm going to give you a bold brow, and then I'm going to give you like a bushy, no makeup style of brow. So if you're interested in this video, just keep watching. Alright, first thing, I'm just going to clip my hair back because I already know that it's going to be in my way and irritate me. I already know. So let's clip this back. And then I'm going to hit you with a little bit of a zoom as well. Let's zoom you in more. Okay. Okay, so we're a little bit more zoomed in. You can get kind of a clearer view of what my brows look like with no makeup on. I am blessed with a pretty good brow to start with. I'm not going to lie, I'm not even going to try to act like I'm not. I got a pretty nice brow to start with, okay? So usually I just pluck my own eyebrows. In the past, I've gotten my eyebrows threaded before. I've never gotten them waxed because I'm allergic to the wax, but threaded was used to be like my thing when I'd get my eyebrows done. What I found is that they ended up getting too thin and I didn't really like that, and I started to like the, you know, bigger, bushier, more natural brow. So I kind of just let mine go wild, and then I just go in with a pair of tweezers. I really like these Tweezerman tweezers. They seem like they're the best to me. Definitely worth the money because they are like $20 for a pair of tweezers, and it's kind of like, for tweezers, really? But the Tweezerman tweezers, I swear, are the best. So, first thing I do always with my brows is I just comb them out, get them how I want them. I'm going to grab a mirror because I need something small that I can stare at myself with. So I'm going to be holding this little mirror. So first things first, always, I just like to comb them out. And I really think like part of a good brow is stimulating your brow, which I know is like a weird thing to think about, but when you like brush the hairs in your brow, you're stimulating that hair follicle, and that's going to help it grow more. So I like to just give them a good brush all the time. And this kind of helps too me find hairs, like right here, these hairs down here clearly aren't fitting in with my brow. So I like to brush those down just a tiny bit and brush the rest of it up. So that way I could still kind of see my shape, and then I know like, okay, I should go in and kind of tweeze those hairs. And then same on this side. You could see right here, mainly in like the tail area is where I need to do the most maintenance. I personally only really like to pluck right in the tail area and right in between here. Right in between here, I don't actually get too many hairs. They're mainly like, you know, those clear hairs, the like invisible ones, but I just like to do a little quick in here. And then on the front of the brow. Okay, so now let's move to the side here. So mainly what I like to work on is getting the tail. So right here, this is like a stray hair. Boom. And then in here, you can see that it kind of grows lower down on my lash. I'm trying to not be too out of frame, but it kind of grows lower down onto my lid, and I like to just go in and clean those up. And when it comes to my eye starting to water, whew. When it comes to brows, oh my god, it's really starting to water. When it comes to brows, I always think like less is more when it comes to maintenance, especially when you're doing it at home, because I have definitely overplucked my brows, and then you sit back and you look at yourself and you're like, what did I just do? So always less is more. If you have a few stray hairs, like who cares? It gives it that kind of more like natural, bushy, my brows always look this great type of look. Like I don't want them to be super structured. I really just like to pluck out the hairs that are growing really far down or that are on the tail and like just don't make sense. That's what I like to work on. I don't like to make it just like a super clean, crisp structure. It's more just like, let's just clean up these random straight little brow hairs. So going back in and just looking, so sometimes you get these hairs right in this section I found that I can't really tell, like, is this gonna really mess up the structure of the brow? Is it not? And that's when the spoolie comes in handy, and I like to just take those and kind of pull them down while brushing the rest of the brow up. Because then you can see, sometimes you'll pull a hair that's like down here, but it's like a thick hair, and then all of a sudden you have a gap in your brow, and I don't want that. I want them to still be really nice and full. And honestly, with this brow, for where it's at now, I'm like, that's good. I don't need to pluck anymore. I got those few hairs that were running down. I kind of cleaned up the tail a little bit. It's nice. That's how I like it. That's how it's going to be. So let's move on to this other guy, and literally just the same exact process. We're just going to go in and start cleaning up. You could see here on my tail that I have quite a few extra little hairs. Okay. So I'm done with the plucking. Like I say, less is more. Keep it how it is. I don't mind a few stray hairs. I really like to just clean up the tail area and anything that's growing down, and that's it. So after that, I definitely wouldn't go straight in and like do my brows. I like to give them just like a little bit of time. So they look pretty good to me. Let's give them a little brush. I do want to show you guys this right here. This is from Milk. This is the Kush Grow Lash and Brow Serum, and I actually have only been using this for a few weeks now, and I've only been using it in my brows. It's literally just like a little serum, and it comes on this brush right here. Now, I only use this at night just because I don't want it to interfere with any brow product I put on. But I will say I haven't really noticed any growth in my brows, but I have noticed my brows have been a lot softer and they've been a lot easier to brush through and work with, as well as I've had less brow hairs kind of just fall out. You know how that just kind of naturally happens. And sometimes I feel like because I do wear so much makeup and I'm constantly like washing my face and wiping makeup off, I do get quite a few brow hairs that fall out. But since I've started using this little serum here, I've noticed way less of that, and it's super easy. You just kind of paint it on your brows at night, let it be, go on with your life. So I just wanted to quickly share that with you. So now let's, while we're waiting for my brows to calm down a little bit, let me zoom you back out. Okay, so I just want to give my brows just a few minutes to kind of relax, get the redness to go away, calm down after I just went in there and tweezed them. I'm going to share with you guys some of my favorite brow products. Let's start with brow pencils because I do have a few different ones that I love. I would probably say one of my favorite brow pencils of all time. This is the Thrive Cosmetics Infinity Waterproof Brow in the shade Audrey. All brow pencils I use have this really small pointed tip to it. I like that better than like the thicker kind of like the, not the Brow Wiz, what's the Brow Shaper from Anastasia is a little bit thicker. I like a really thin tip. This brow pencil is amazing and it really is waterproof. Like this is not going anywhere. You could literally swim in a triathlon and your brows will still be perfect with this on. It is so great. The next brow pencil that I love, and honestly this one I found myself using the most recently, is the CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Defining Pencil, and this is in the shade Honey Brown. Same thing, it just has that little rounded, small kind of Brow Wiz type of tip to it. I really like this one. I honestly think this is one of the best brow pencils from the drugstore. Really easy to work with. It lasts all day. The only thing is I think there's only 3 shades in this. There's soft brown, and then there's like dark brown, and that is like not enough shades, especially for brows. Like everyone's brows are in like completely different colors, and come on now, we need more shades. But I really like this pencil from the drugstore. It's really cheap, it's really affordable, it's great. For a higher end brow pencil, I do actually really like this Urban Decay Brow Blade. This one's really cool because on one end it has a pencil On the other side here, it has this brow marker, which is really cool if you're wanting to add in just a few really natural brow strokes, or even if you're wanting to do faux freckles or something, this is a really nice tool for that. I have these two brow pens here by Flower Beauty. I have talked about these actually numerous times, and normally I really like to use these for faux freckles, but if I'm wanting to do like a really natural, really almost like Patrick Ta Glossier style brow, I will go in and I'll reach for these because they are literally just brow markers. They're angled really nicely, so you can go in there and make like really nice natural brow strokes. And I have 2 different shades in this. I believe this comes in 4 different shades, and I have the shade Soft Brown and the shade Auburn. So definitely check those out. Those are at the drugstore. Flower Beauty is kind of like a hard brand to find though. I find that I really only ever can find them at Walmart, so I would suggest ordering them online or just going to your local Walmart. These are great brow pens. So let's move on here. I have quite a few brow products actually. Next is brow powder, which I don't know if I could live without brow powder. You can build a whole brow out of it, or for me, I like using it to like lock in my bold brow and really keep it going all day. And honestly, one of my favorite brow powders is from the Kat Von D Vegan Beauty. I don't really know what it's called anymore, the KVD Vegan Beauty. They still have this product. This is the Brow Struck Ultra Dimensional Brow Powder. I have mine in the shade Soft Brown. I have Hip Pan. You could tell it's very loved. It's very dirty. This brow product is really interesting because it's almost kind of shimmery, and at first when I bought it, I was like, who wants a shimmery brow powder? Like, I don't want my brows to be shimmery. But I was wrong because the shimmer is so small and so light, and honestly what it does is it just kind of reflects the light off of it, and it makes it look like that's actually what your brows look like. Like, something about it mimics the way that real brow hair looks and real brow hair shines, and it is so great. I love this brow powder so much, and I'm really confused with the whole Kat Von D Vegan Beauty or whatever the naming is going to be for the brand now, but this is a really great brow powder, so I definitely recommend this, and they still have this as a product, so check that out. And I have another brow powder. This used to be like the one that I used the most. This is from Pixi. This is their brow powder palette. It comes with 5 different, more than 5, what is this? 6 different brow powder shades in here. I do really like this. This is a nice pick from the drugstore. Good brow powder, just pretty standard, nothing too special about it, but this is a nice little brow palette. Alright, almost done here with the brow products. I know it's a lot. Next I have some brow gels. So my favorite tinted brow gel of all time is this Milk Makeup. This is the Milk Makeup Cush Fiber Brow Gel. I got mine in the shade Dutch. This is honestly my favorite tinted brow gel. I will be using this today when I show you guys the more natural bushy brow. It's just out of this world. It's bomb. It definitely coats your brows. It makes them look really thick and full and natural and tints them perfectly. So nice. I love this stuff. And then for a clear brow gel, I mean, there's so many different ones, but I always kind of go back to the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. This one, the labeling is literally just worn off in my hands, but it's just a basic clear brow gel. I like it because it holds my brow straight up, and that's that. There's not too much to say about it. So let's move on and actually start filling in these brows. I feel like they've had enough time to rest, so I'm going to zoom you guys back in and then we will fill out the brows. Okay, we're zoomed back in. Let's go into the brows. So first I think I want to do the more natural, bushy, no makeup brow, and I'm going to go in with this eyebrow right here. I don't know what it is about this brow, but this one always just gives me more trouble, so let's go in with this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the Milk Makeup Cush Fiber Brow Gel in the shade Dutch. I love this stuff. And I'm literally just going to coat the brow, and I like to actually put like 2 or 3 coats of this on, kind of let it dry, fill it back in, let it dry, fill it back in. So that's what we're going to do first. Get away, let the bad times be gone. When the days are rough, I can dust it off. Change the state I'm in. And the very front of my brow tends to be a little bit more bare, so I like to really work that in at the front. And if a little bit of this gets on your skin, don't worry. It's very similar to mascara, where if you just let it dry and you go in with a Q-tip, it'll just kind of flake right off. So I'd never worry if I get just a little bit on my skin. Okay, so that's from just 1 coat. So I'm going to go in for another coat. Okay, so second coat of that brow is on, and now you could see from just when I'm staring forward at you, this brow looks already fuller, darker, and more defined than this brow over here. And that's just from the 2 coats of that brow gel. Like, looking straight on, you can definitely tell, and especially when I do one of these, you can see. So normally when I'm doing a brow like this, I actually kind of like, I'll do 1 coat, I'll do a little bit of concealer, I'll go back in, I'll do a little bronzer, and I kind of go back and forth with it. I don't do it all just, you know, in a row right here, because I like to give it just a little bit of dry time. So let's go in for the 3rd and final coat of this brow gel right here. Feel the need, let the bad times be gone. Won't you let me stay forever? Okay, now I'm going to let that dry a little bit before I go in with the next step. But what I'm going to do next, and this is what I like to do for a really kind of bushy natural brow, is going in with the brow pen. So either this Urban Decay pen or these Flower Beauty pens. I'm going to go in with the Flower Beauty pen today, and I'm going to take the one in the shade Soft Brown. And what I'm going to do is go in, and so you can see the angle of this brush is really flat, and then it kind of angles up. So I'm going to take, it slants down like this, I'm going to take it just in this direction like this and pull it up. So right into the brow and very lightly just go straight up. And that's it. I really don't need too much of this. I like to just kind of use it to fill in any gaps, give a little bit more shape. And then I like to go in with just a spoolie, just 1 time through it, just to kind of get all the hairs in the direction that I want them to go in. Okay, and then to finish that off, you just go right in with the clear brow gel over top. And there she is. This is my natural-ish, bushy, no makeup brow. Really what I like to do with this brow is I just like to deepen it up, give it a little color to it, and make it look a lot thicker. So you could see when I look just straight on in the camera here, this brow is just bushier. It's really thick and bold and more natural. And then this is the actual brow with no makeup on it at all. So you can see that it instantly just kind of like thickens that up, makes it look a lot more defined, and like, you know, like, oh, my eyebrows are always naturally this bushy and perfectly combed up kind of look. Okay, so let's switch sides here and let's go in for my bold brow. So first thing I do with the bold brow, same thing I do with the other brow. I go ahead and I brush it out first. And then with this one, I'm going to go in today with the CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil in the shade Honey Brown. And when I'm doing a bold brow, the first thing I like to do is go underneath and kind of just create the shape in line what I want the shape to look like. So start right here in the beginning. And you don't need very much pressure with this pencil. Go light, and especially go light because you don't want to build it up too much and then be like, oh, I hate this. How am I supposed to clean this up? Just go light, kind of work out the shape you want first. So I like to follow kind of already what my brow naturally is shaped like and looks like. And then I start filling in the tail over here. I keep looking in the monitor because I literally never see my brows this close up while I'm doing it. Even when I'm holding the mirror, like something about the camera in the monitor, I'm like, ooh, that's like a lot of detail. It's really close up. Like, I'm not used to seeing my brow like that. So after I kind of get that initial bottom line going here, I just go in with the pencil and I start filling it in, start deepening it up. I'm not worrying too much about creating brow strokes or making it look super natural in the beginning. In the beginning, it's all about shape and all about filling it in. And then I go in with my brow powder, and that's when I really start, you know, creating the hairs and doing the work like that. But for this, it's just creating the shape and starting to fill it in. When I start getting to more of the front of the brow is when I start doing more of these straight up and down, creating like fake brow hair type of strokes. And that is because the front of my brow is more bare than the rest of my brow. And so I like to create it more to the shape and the denseness that I want it to be. Okay, and this is something that I always do when I do my brows, is I'm constantly going back through with the spoolie to comb it out and to see, okay, this is where I'm going right now. I need to deepen it up just a little bit more in this section. I need to fix the shape over here. Just constantly going back and forth with the spoolie and the pencil. And don't worry about, like you can see right here, this is not perfectly straight. Don't worry about that. I'm going to go in with concealer at the end and fix it. But for now, I'm just working on creating shape and creating the like deepness that I want in the shade. Okay, so far this is just with the pencil. So you can see that in this front area, it's still a little bare. I still need some work. But for the most part, I like the shape that I got going on, and I like how much it's looking more filled in. Like I got a thicker brow, there's more shape to it. So I'm just going to go in a tiny bit more with this brow pencil, and then we're going to move on to the brow powder. But I'm just going in and kind of filling any gaps, and I'm going to try to deepen up this front area here without making it look too like blocky, too fake looking. So just really lightly. Okay, so moving on to brow powder. I'm going to go in today with the Kat Von D Brow Struck Light Brown Powder. And I'm going to take this Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Brush. I don't know what number this is. I think this was the number 11 brow brush. It's just a nice angled flat brush. I'm going to go right into that brow powder. So first I'm going to start in the front here, and I'm kind of going to basically do the same thing I did with the brow pencil. First I'm going to go underneath, but what I really like doing with this is almost taking the pencil like this and pulling the powder up, because I find that that really helps deepen up the brows and give it more definition, especially in this front area here. And I like to use the brow powder almost like as a way to set the brow in, especially when I'm doing a bold brow, because that way it's going to just stay all night. It's going to stay nice and defined, the shape, the deepness that I want, and the brow powder kind of just like smashes in the pencil and it just kind of keeps it there. Also with the brow powder, this is when I tend to see my brow getting the most messy, and then that's okay because you got to go in with the concealer at the end and clean it up. So don't worry about it getting too messy because we're just going to clean it up at the end. But just so you know, that's usually when I tend to see it get the most messy. Let's go in with the spoolie. Okay, so before I clean up the brow, I just kind of want to step back and look at it. So you can see I got pretty much the shape that I want. I have a nice definition in there. I have nice color in there. So next I'm going to go in with some concealer. So what I like to do is take just a nice flat brush. I change it every time I do it. This one is a Morphe M224 brush. It's just a nice flat shading brush. And I'm going to take this CoverGirl. I don't even know what kind of concealer it is. It's just the CoverGirl. I think it's the matte concealer. Just a basic. I don't need it to be super full coverage concealer. And I'm going to wipe a bunch of that on the back of my hand. It's just easier to work with. And then I'm going to go in and coat the brush, mainly on the tip because that's what we're working with here. And then I'm just going to go right in and right underneath and start cleaning that up. And I like to take on the tail end of the top up like this. Okay. And then I'm going to go in with this. This is a Moda. This is just kind of like a flat shading brush. And just kind of blend that out. Then go back in as needed. So after you do the cleanup, if you look at your brow and you're like, that shape is weird, there's a little bit of gaps in there, go in and fix it, and then you can just clean it up again. The reason why I like using a little bit of a lighter coverage concealer is because if I need to keep cleaning it up, it's not going to get thick and cakey and weird and dry under the brow. But I'm pretty happy with how this brow looks so far. So the very last step is just to go in with some clear brow gel. I look crazy right now with 2 different eyebrows on. Alright, and that brow gel, it helps keep your brows in place, but it also helps make the hairs look more like hairs and less like you just kind of covered it up. Another thing I really like to do is if I go in way too bold with a brow and it just looks like a block and I can't see my hairs and I'm like, what's going on? I like to go in with like a tinted brow gel or a clear brow gel because that really helps comb through the hairs and gives them some life and gives it more of that hair-like appearance back into it. So let's look straight on here. We have my bold brow. And we have my natural no makeup brow. I look pretty crazy right now. I'm going to zoom you guys out. And that's it. I hope you guys liked this video. I'm not even going to put makeup on for the rest of the day. I look crazy right now with 2 completely different eyebrows on, but who cares? I'm not going anywhere. Are you? Because I'm not. I'm staying home. But that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post here on YouTube every Tuesday and Friday. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.